What's going on, good people? We are back in the building. Episode 7 of the High and Outside podcast. It's your boy Dante. You know where to follow me at October Zone Tay. And for branding reasons, my Instagram name may turn into my Twitter name real quick. So you may actually be able to find me on IG too as well. But you already know, for all things Barber's Chair Net, make sure you follow the Barber's Chair Net at Barber's Chair Co. on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/the Barber's Chair Network. We have 4 different tiers, all very affordable, like I always say. They $5, $10. You blow that in a month easy. So just shop with us, help us grow the brand. We really appreciate that. For anything Barber's Chair merch related, you can lock in at bcnetshop.com. And for everything else Barber's Chair, from articles to editorials to live content on the field, and as you all know, Bears OTAs just kicked off, so 79th and Hallis is giving you some great content. Make sure you check in, lock in with us at the bcnet.com. We have a full show today. We have the full cast in with us. One of our cast members is Stanley Cup chasing right now, but let's bring them all in. Courtney, we're gonna start with you. How you feeling?
I am feeling all the residual effects of a playoff push. I'm not on the ice, but I feel it. This shit is a grind. The commercials say it takes everything. It takes everything.
Hey, we are glad to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
Sid, how you feeling, my boy?
Life is good. Life is great. School year is about to end. Summer is about to start. I can finally focus on baseball the entire way through. I can finally see the Mets play in person. Life is good.
I know. We love to hear that. Malik, my boy, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. Memorial Day weekend here. The unofficial start of summer. College World Series. Baseball starting to heat up, like Sid said. NBA Finals coming on. So I'm feeling good.
Very true, bro. NBA Finals are close. I know none of our teams are in it, but I mean,
hold on, that's not true.
Hold on, who's your team now, bro? Here we go. What? Who's your team? Oh, you're a Knicks fan. I take that back. My apologies. My apologies. I forgot. I hate. It's crazy how I hate every team that you like, but you are a Knicks fan.
No, Sid, did you peep how quick he was ready to jump you? Bandwagon fan? That was crazy, Dante. You wrote it up. That was crazy.
You never know, because people will be, I'm a Yankee fan and a Cowboy fan. And I'm like, oh, you're just full of shit. So,
bro, he's a Knicks fan. I think he's allowed to be a Knicks fan. I feel like also the two were kind of synonymous.
Hey, gang.
You got it. You got it. My bad.
I watched Candace Parker's baby father play for my team.
Yeah, you've earned this. Y'all been let Hallie sing y'all to hell, but you got this one.
Gang.
No, we're not gonna get into that. We're gonna get it could be a long night. No, we're gonna start off in my city. We're gonna start off in Atlanta, man. It's been it was a slow start for the Braves, but they kicked it off, and now they are, back above 500. Been a lot of close games, but they are getting 2 big pieces back. As we all know, Spencer Strider made his return last week. It wasn't the Spencer Strider we used to seeing, and he wasn't happy with his performance, but he is back. And now, it's crazy because the cover you see for this podcast isn't going to be what it should have been, because I thought this man was still going to be in Gwinnett. But tonight, Ronald Acuna Jr. was scratched from the lineup, and he'll be headed back to Atlanta. He'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow against the Padres, making his debut almost 1 year to the day that he tore his ACL. We talk about how rare ACL tears are in baseball, and this man has torn both of his. But he's back. He was seeing the ball well in Gwinnett, hitting the ball all over the place, taking walks, being the Ronald Acuna, we know he played 9 innings yesterday, and then he'll be back and added to this team. And like I said, this is a team that started the season 0-7, but since then has been one of the best teams in baseball, despite being pretty average on both sides of the ball, which is kind of crazy. You've had your starting pitching step up in spots where they need it, but you still haven't had the same amazing offense that you've seen from this team. So I'm gonna ask you all, before I give my opinion, but how how big are these additions to Atlanta, and what do you expect from this team? Is this one of those moments where you just take off, or is there still going to be some growing pains for putting them both back into the lineup? Sid, I'm gonna start with you because I know you're our resident Braves hater, so I'm gonna let you get your opinion off first.
Braves hater. That's crazy because these are two players that I actually really enjoy, Ronald Acuna and Spencer Strider. Spencer Strider, like I really think he's one of those guys who I love to see pitching. Just fastball, changeup, slider. That's all he really has. But strike zone takes it as a challenge. Like when a guy gets a triple to hold them on third base with his pitching ability, which obviously isn't the best way to move forward in the playoffs, and we've seen that from time to time. But who cares about any of that? Because Spencer Strider is so cool and Ronald Acuna are both so cool. Them coming back is a huge jolt to the arm. Ronald Acuna is must-see TV. He's lightning in a bottle every single time. Like when you add someone like that on the base pass, someone who can I think, put up a 60-70 season if he had a full season of it. There's just a lot to like about Acuna. I saw Spencer Strider after his bad outing, or one of his last bad outings. He said he really hates that Bryce Elder got sent down and lost that spot because Bryce Elder was tossing some really good baseball. So, the self-awareness that Spencer Strider has with, his addition, the lack of self-awareness that Ronald Acuna might have with his addition. I think all things should be balanced, but I think the Braves, regardless of anything, we're obviously going to be in competition for winning the NL East. 0-7, 0-5, OMG. It doesn't really matter. Like, baseball is a really long season, and it doesn't really matter how you start. It matters how you finish. So.
No, that's fact. No, that's facts. Courtney, how you feeling?
Admittedly, I haven't been watching a ton of Braves baseball recently. That being said, it's always a good thing when you can get Spencer Strider back into your rotation. How did he throw the other day? It was what, like three runs?
No, I'll show you right now. I'll say it right now. He had he went 4 and 1/3 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts.
I don't like to clamor too much on people in their first start back. We'll talk about it a little bit later when we get into that Mariners-Astros series. George Kirby just came back tonight, got shellacked, So I like to extend people a little bit of grace. That being said, I mean, it's going to be nice having Ronnie back in the lineup as well. Maybe that sort of rubs off on the rest of the guys in that lineup. They went from having, some pretty solid numbers the past couple of years offensively to being in the 20th to 30th range team-wise in offensive metrics in a lot of different categories. I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, it'll be good to have them back. Gotta be honest. I don't know if I'm still on the Braves train. I don't know. It's still early. Things can change very easily. We'll get into it again here in a minute when I start talking about the Astros. Never count a team out, especially not this early. That being said, we'll see.
Yeah, the Braves. I feel like the Braves are very much a team to look out for to make a move. Like this is very much we might have to shake shit up type of situation because you got a couple log jams at positions. Drake Baldwin's been on fucking fire. Sean Murphy's still a very good former all-star catcher. And the dilemma is you can't DH one because Marcell Ozuna is a DH. You're not going to put him in the outfield until Profar gets back because that's really just putting you at a negative and something that you just can't do. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But Malik, before I let you go and close this out before we go to the next topic, I'm really interested to see how they react to Ronald Acuna. And I know it's going to be a positive, but I think he's such an electric player to where, for example, if he hits a home run tomorrow, the building's going to shake. But the energy that's going to put into that team, I think is what could be really, really special, especially because when you look at a guy like Ozzie Albies and the way he's been struggling, that's his guy. So if Ronnie comes back, you saw the energy when he was just on the bench, walking around, talking to guys, hyping his team up. So like the connection he has with his team is there. And one thing I really loved was the fact that before he could even sit down and we posted the video. You all saw the press conference. Before he could really sit down in the seat, they asked him about the tweets and everything, and he honestly said, yeah, I went to him, face to face, man to man, said what we had to say, and we good. It's time to go. It's time to play. So if that's the case, and that's the energy he's bringing, I think this is a situation where the Braves could really take off, and like especially. And like I say, I know how great Ronald Acuna is, but if, like you said, Courtney, that rubbing off from the rest of the team, and if you can get Ozzy going, that really changes everything. Like that changes so much for that team. So I'm interested to see what he does tomorrow. I know he was scratching, like I said, he was scratching the lineup today, so he should be traveling back from Gwinnett. Gwinnett's not too far from here, so like I'm assuming he will be in the lineup tomorrow against the Padres team that's lost 6 games in a row. So they're struggling. This is the perfect time to put him back in there. And I think that the Braves can really go crazy. But Malik, how you feeling?
I'm just happy for baseball that we get Ronald Acuna Jr. back. He was going to be an all-star outfielder last season before he went out. We saw him bounce back from his last injury with 70 steals when he came back from the previous ACL. So him and Spencer Strider both, just seeing good ball players, great ball players, been two great ball players, is always a good thing. I do think it's going to give the Braves some juice. It puts a question in my mind of, do they add more depth to their bullpen, their starting rotation, or like you were talking about, do they go get another bat with how loaded they are at some of these spots? Maybe a shortstop, maybe another left fielder or something. Profar, he'll be back soon, but I believe he's not eligible for the postseason with that performance enhancer ban. So I want to see what else they add. But whenever you add a guy who I think before he got hurt was a top 2-3 player in baseball, right behind Ohtani, kind of near where Tatis and of course Judge are too. But the way his speed and power, all that combination, I love watching Ronnie play. So I'm happy he's back.
Yeah, definitely. And before we move on, I'm actually like I said, Drake Baldwin has been extremely good, not only at the plate but behind the plate. He's been above average as a catcher. Is this a situation where, granted, you have the young talent, but with the type of pitching that may be out there, or just the moves you feel like you need to make to shake this team up, would you all be willing to give up Drake Baldwin, or is it more of a situation where you keep the talent and just try to make something work? Courtney, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I have never been one to advocate, I guess I should say, for hoarding prospects. As we've seen with a few different organizations right now, we're dealing with the impact of maybe not giving up enough assets to acquire proven big league talent. It's always this idea that it's going to pan out. I got to be honest. Again, maybe that's probably why I'm not a Major League Baseball general manager. I will trade anybody for proven big league talent because there's never any, like, unless you have a proven body of work, you just never know if someone's going to pan out. And again, yeah, sure, a big leaguer can come in and they can stink it up, but at least when you made that decision that it was sound when you made it. You never know if that's going to happen with any prospect or minor league talent. So that being said, you got to do what you got to do. If the Braves truly think that that's something that will help them get to a championship this season, sure. Do I think that will help them get to a championship this season? No.
No, that's very real. I think a lot of times we've seen them, and Snick said it when he pinch hit, Rosario, who is now no longer on the roster. They've been trying to recreate this magic from that World Series run. And like I said, it may be time to just reset some things. Sid, I'm gonna go to you next. How do you feel? Like, is there a thing where Drake Baldwin, he's a younger catcher than Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy is the proven all-star. Do you move either guy, or is it more of a situation where we're gonna try to make this work?
I cannot think of the last time the Braves had just like a young guy behind the plate that they developed.
Brian McCann.
Brian McCann.
Wow, that's okay. Yeah,
Vintage.
it's been a while. I remember old Mets guy Travis d'Arnaud was there for a while. Shout out him for being a 347 hitter against the Mets for his entire career after he left us. Young talent is hard to find. Young talent is hard to pass up in the MLB because in the MLB it comes with the damn near guarantee that this person is going to be on your roster for 6 or 7 years. That stability is not the same for older stars, especially aging stars. But I think the infrastructure of the Braves is good enough to where maybe you trade Murphy. Like, his contract is fairly movable, just because, AA and his deal with Satan. I don't know what negotiating tactics he employs, but people accept very low numbers to play for the Braves. Sean Murphy accepted a not amazing number to play for the Braves. So no, I think you keep Baldwin. Just so that, when it is finally time to move on, you can say you had this developed piece that moves along with the infrastructure that will stay. Because obviously, like, everything is going to come down soon for the Braves, or at least sooner rather than later. So yeah, I think you keep a guy like that for sure.
Malik, take us home. How you feel?
Like Courtney said, sometimes when you don't sell high on prospects, you wait a year later, you try to hold off, and then you try to move them, and now you can't even get a sack of peanuts for them. So I agree with that. But with him being a catcher, it's hot out in ATL. He's young, got him under control. I leave him in ATL for this year. Let him learn a little bit over Murphy. It's gonna be tough for him not catching. He probably won't get 4 out of 6. He catches there's 6 games out a week. I think he probably only catches 2 or 3 of them with Murphy up, unless he can stay out and hit. But there's also the pitcher preference when it comes to the catcher position too. But I think the depth at that spot is important, more important than a lot of other spots where you have another guy who could go over and play second base. You have another guy who maybe could play outfield. When you find a catcher, especially a catcher who could hit, like Baldwin's been doing, it'd be hard pressed for me to sell now, unless you're talking about bringing in a superstar. We all know it's the talks of them even trading Paul Skeens would be crazy, but somebody like that. Do you do that? I don't think I do that move though for like a Framber Valdez 1-year rental type player. So I'm keeping him, but at the same time, if it's to get a superstar, if it's to get one of those guys, then I'm not risking not getting in just to hold Drake Baldwin with Murphy on the team.
Can I pose a question?
Of course.
A Drake Baldwin package for Mike Trout, maybe?
They have. I mean, he'd be one of the pieces, and of course they got Ohapi there, so he wouldn't be full.
And are you renting Mike Trout? Because I mean, Profar, you signed Profar to that deal, and Mike Harris is not moving off center. Ronnie's in right. So are we moving Profar? Like,
I think you punt
he's not
Ozuna,
going to
maybe.
DH.
You punt Ozuna at some point, and then you DH Mike Trout for the rest of his life.
I think that's very.
That's a lot of money.
They don't spend any money.
For sure. But that's my point. That's a lot of money for someone who, first off, has not in recent years proven that he's able to stay healthy. Right. And 2, for an organization that has actively shown that they don't spend money. So if I'm thinking about it, if I'm Alex Anthopoulos, it's why would I make that trade? Like, you got the steal of the century, or so you thought, when you did give Profar, what was it, 42 million for 3 years? Something like that?
Yeah, something small.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy, unfortunately. Shit happens. I can't, say what did or did not happen. But shit does happen, and he's obviously banned for 80 games plus, obviously ineligible for the postseason.
80 games in the post.
So yeah, that seems to be a theme in the NL East. What y'all got going on over there in
Whole
Philly
lot of dope
and Atlanta?
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, with 80 games plus the postseason, it makes you, like, it kind of sticks you. Because do you want to make a move? And just for the record, the biggest contract on the books right now is Austin Riley. I think he's 10 years, 250, so $25 million a year. So, Ronnie has a larger. No, he don't. But no, he doesn't. Austin Riley's the highest paid player on the Atlanta Braves. But yeah, Austin Riley's the highest paid guy. So you have money to spend. With that being said, you're making money hand over fist with the battery. You've been bragging about that for years. And so I think it's time for them to, we're going to really see where they are and how they feel about actually, extending this run. Because, I mean, we always talk about windows closing quickly in sports. And, 2021 is only 4 years ago, but then you're going to look up and say, well, 2021 was 10 years ago. Like, it's kind of like, and for somebody who, when you go to the ballpark, one thing I love about it, they had it in Turner Field and they have it now at Truist, where they have all the division titles that they won in a row. And it's one of those things where, like, you see the one where they won, 10 in a row and they had one World Series. And then you look at the other side where it's like 7 in a row and they have one World Series. So it's like, it may be a thing like, is history repeating itself? Or are you going to be able to stretch this run out? So I think that's something to look into. Like I said, having those guys back is going to be amazing. And the Braves, I think they're going to go on a run, but they kind of need to go on a run. And if you don't, and if you aren't able to do that, then it may be time to start to really reevaluate some things and see what you want to do roster wise. But speaking about, reevaluating things, and of course, we're going to let the two people from Texas hold this segment down. But the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros, like, two teams that, have won World Series in the past, 3 years. Out of the last 3 years, each team has won a World Series. So, we've seen a success. And this year, it's been a slower start. As we've said on this show several times, there's no need to panic about baseball in May. But at the same time, when you look at these teams, they haven't gotten really what they wanted from the rosters and what they expected. Especially, we're going to talk about the Astros. I think I'd probably be more worried about the Astros right now than the Rangers. But Courtney, I'm going to swing it to you. Let us know what's going on down there in Houston. And we don't have the fine button here, but you are definitely muted.
That's fine. If you guys don't know the fine button lore, make sure you tune in to an episode of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, airing on Mondays and Fridays, and also Wednesdays Patreon special on the Barbershare Network. Anyway, as I was saying, the Houston Astros have, we've gotten accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Those of us who have watched the Astros, that they're always looming, whether or not they are, actually, in first place or not, that they are always looming. That being said, I'm not terribly afraid of the Astros right now. Their lineup is marred with injuries and a lack of left-handed hitting. Their pitching staff is non-existent. They have lost, I think, 3/5 of their starting rotation up until this point. And again, we can get into, the sort of issues that they're dealing with. Hayden Wesneski, who they got, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Kyle Tucker trade. Yes. And Ronel Blanco just went back to Houston, or is back in Houston now, I should say, who's, best case scenario, all he does is end up on the IL, and that it doesn't require any surgery. Spencer Arrighetti, which again, we can also unpack the Astros and just how bad they are at sharing injury information with the media and with the public as a whole. Definitely thought that when the unfortunate Arrighetti injury, for those who don't know, Spencer Arrighetti did end up on the injured list during, I think it was BP in Seattle, maybe. Anyway, he got hit in the thumb. And they said, oh, he's only going to be out for about a month. No big deal. And now he's been out for about 2 months, and he's probably not going to be back for another month and a half. And then again, going into this series against Seattle this weekend, again, I know we'll unpack that a little bit this weekend. But just the order of the rotations messed up. And ultimately, again, you can't blame injuries on, every team has injuries. That's kind of just the state of baseball. But to a certain point, Dana Brown does have to be held liable for the roster construction on this team. Again, the lack of left-handed hitting in the lineup is a problem. All a team has to do is just throw out not even their best, any right-handed reliever against that team and on any given night. And, you're marked safe, right? You have like 3 bench guys that are basically just the same guy in a different font. What's his name? Salazar and Caratini, who can't play every night. Chas McCormick, who they are probably still holding on to him just because they kind of have to. But yeah, they have no left-handed hitting. They really needed a left-handed hitting outfielder, which would have been great if they made that move for Verdugo before the Braves did, but they didn't. So again, it's just poor roster construction by Dana Brown. The Astros didn't want to spend money. Okay. You ask Jose Altuve to play a new position. Anyway, I'm saying a lot. All that to say, the Astros are always looming. This is a big series this weekend that they started this evening against the Mariners. And again, I know it's baseball. Anything could happen. Last June, they were 10 games out and they ended up winning the American League West. So anything could happen. Never count a team out. But that being said, it is time to panic if you are a Houston Astros fan.
No, definitely. Sid, how you feel about the Astros right now, bro?
Yeah. Built bad. It's always hard to sustain World Series success in the way that they have. They've had a lot of World Series success. You're not going to replicate that. I don't think you're going to come anything close to that. Like I would not be surprised if I'm done seeing the Astros win, AL pennants in my natural life. Like that, I'd be fine with that, really. But yeah, they're built terribly. And then it hurts even more that, again, you could have brought the Unkrin back home. Like Kyle Tucker is loving Chicago. Alex Bregman is the best offensive player on the Red Sox. What's the team to do when you gut everything but your aging star on a team-friendly contract and your oft-injured, non-versatile hitter who will hit 400 in June, July, August, September, October? There's just a lot of nothing going on. And I think the nothingness started when they kind of refused to get a real first baseman. And they thought
they got him, Sid. They got him. They gave Christian Walker all that money thinking we don't need Kyle Tucker. It's fine. We don't need Alex Bregman. We got Christian Walker. He'll take care of all the problems because the only problems we had in that lineup were with Jose Abreu. Now, mind you, up until this point, I am almost certain that Christian Walker has a lower OPS and a lower on-base percentage and lower slugging than Jose Abreu had up until this point in the season. So that's just not sustainable. Again, when you give the one guy who was supposed to come in and fix all of your problems that you thought you had comes in and doesn't perform well. Again, it's a mess of their own making. It's poor roster construction. There's no depth there at all at any position, really. There's just no depth. Maybe at catcher, they've got 3 catchers that can hit. That's cool. Dubon is, obviously got great versatility, but I'm not seeing anything there that makes me think he can solidify himself as an everyday guy. Jake Myers has been fantastic. I'll give him that.
He's been a bright spot.
100%. Jeremy Pena has been great. Isaac Paredes has been great. But again,
another good acquisition, but still, like you said, built bad.
Yeah, correct. Those aren't the guys though that are supposed to be. I mean, obviously Jeremy Pena for sure, but like, where is everybody else? Again, Jose Altuve, 35 years old. I said it before the show started, like he's getting older. If you just look at some of his different numbers, there's a lot of, and I don't want to say regression, but there's just changes that he's made in an attempt to kind of catch up with a game that listen, Father Time is undefeated, right? Like you're undefeated. And again, I don't like to use defense as a cop-out because he was never a Gold Glove second baseman to begin with. So yes, you are learning a new position, and the woes of having to switch from second base to left field is one thing, but I don't know. Again, this team might be cooked.
They're cooked. They're cooked food.
Yeah. And Malik, I'm gonna ask you. Obviously, I want to get your opinion on the Astros too before we jump into the Rangers, the team that you cover. But how you been feeling about the Astros, bro? Because you've been able to see them up close and personal as well.
Man, last Sunday I think was a perfect example of just how the Houston Astros have been the last few years. Great start for the Rangers. I can't off my mind I believe it was Jack Leiter who was on the mound, I think. Excellent start. Joe Espada gets ejected in like the second inning. I want to say it's a no-hitter. Yeah, it was Jack Leiter. No-hitter for 6-7 innings. He comes out. Ranger pitcher Chris Martin, he takes a right-handed pitcher, Chris Martin, warms up pitch, can't even finish his warm-up. He goes out. Rangers throw in a lefty, and the Astros, Isaac Paredes, because you're in fear of the legend of Jose Altuve, who's hitting under 200, I believe, recently. You're in fear of Altuve. Paredes is on the team to hit lefties, and he smashes a bomb. Astros take the lead. Astros tie the series but a split with the last dub for your team. It feels more like you in the weekend series with the dub. You feel like you won the series. I say that just to say and even tonight we're recording this Thursday night. Up big on the Mariners right now. Jose Altuve he went yard tonight. The AL West just isn't good enough to put them away. So despite all the Astros flaws, which is all true, the roster's bad. There are no lefties. They didn't address the outfield at all. Jordan's injury seems, we talk about it, it seems a lot like that Kyle Tucker type injury where, he just has a little sprain in his foot. He has whatever, this and this. And as the days go by, you find out, Kyle Tucker's knee was dislocated, fractured, and he was even in the playoffs. He was cooked. He was out there just to be out there. You're dealing with that with Jordan now with his hand injury. So, and then like you said, your questions in the bullpen with the starting rotation, everybody getting hurt. Framber on his 1 year deal. Framber's not signing. He told them already he's testing free agency, but you can't trade him now. The Blanco's out. Do I think that they can ultimately reach a World Series? I don't think so, especially if Jordan's not in. I think that hurts him a lot. But with the way that we'll talk about the Rangers in a sec, and the way that the Seattle Mariners just can never close, and the way that the Angels and the Athletics are just having fun right now, I don't think you can count out the Astros to win the AL West.
Yeah, I mean, like we say, bro, it's never say never. It's never too early. Never too. Yeah, they'll be all right. There's a lot of baseball left. Now, there's another team in Texas, and this is the one that spent a shitload of money. We talked about it. You got your World Series out of it, though. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you spend that type of bread, you spend to win, and you won. But the Rangers are another team as well. I'll say this, Courtney. I'll say this. Our sneaky Cy Young pick, Jacob deGrom, has looked really good. He's looked really good. He's looked very good. I know he's been
Then
flirting with
is
100.
that hurt you when we say that, Sid? Does that do
Yeah.
you like?
Do you
Does it
wish
hurt a
it's
little
like
bit?
when you lean in
Remember
against
what
the
I said
glass,
earlier in the
raining, and it's
chat
like, oh my
when
god.
I was like, I want Chris Cuomo to be like, when will it end? That's really how I feel about Jacob deGrom. Like when
Bro, he looks great. He looks
I
great.
know.
And
But
not only does he look great, I mean, you've seen it the last few starts where it's like he's flirting with the fact, like he has to remind people, like, yeah, I can still throw 100 if I want to.
dog,
Like,
he's completely redefined Jacob deGrom.
It's been really good. It's been really good. But I mean, I'm gonna throw it to Malik first because like I said, you've been seeing firsthand what's going on with this ball club. Just give us a little bit of just your take and how you feel about what's going on with the Rangers. And it's just, like again, it's just more, we don't panic about May baseball, but what's going on? What's some things that we can look for with the Rangers that they really need to fix?
Oh man, I keep hearing that don't panic, and I'm trying not to, man. But it feels like this offense hasn't been hit outside of a great World Series run. I don't want to take that away. They earned it, and I said it a few weeks ago. I believe since July of 2023, this offense just hasn't had any juice. Last season, it feels a lot like this season, where people weren't getting it done with runners in scoring position. People are swinging crazy. The averages are so low. It's worrying me. It's concerning me, this offense. They just went to New York and got swept 3-0 by the Yankees, lose a 1-0 game. Nathan Eovaldi through the day, one mistake, 1-0 game loss. Jacob deGrom, I believe he left with a 3-2 lead in the 8th inning last Wednesday night. Lose that game. Over their last 13 starts, deGrom and Eovaldi have a 1.37 ERA. And they're just two of the brightest spots on one of the best pitching staffs I've seen the Texas Rangers ever have. With the way the offense looks right now, you get a few people hot here and there. I don't see how they break out of this slump. And another thing that it comes down to is health. Corey Seager, since 2023, 4 hamstring injuries that have had him on the injury list. He's on there again right now. He hasn't been able to do any on-field work because it's raining out in the East Coast now. So he's done a little, I think, on the treadmill. You don't know when he's coming back. You trade Leody Taveras to give Evan Carter a shot. Oblique injury for Evan Carter. You're not sure when he'll get back. Wyatt Langford's shown that he's one of the best. He's Wyatt, the best player on the team, but he'll go down with an injury just like Josh Jung. So if these guys can't get healthy, if Corey Seager doesn't come back, I don't. With some of the approaches that these guys have, I don't think Brett Boone can save them. I don't think it was a hitting coach issue. I think it's deeper than that with a lot of these guys. At some point, you're going to have to make a move. And then even the bullpen, another thing I want to highlight. Kirby Yates, who I believe he got put on he's had some shoulder fatigue now, but you don't sign Kirby Yates, you don't sign David Robertson. Instead, you go cheap and try to piece together a bullpen that for a few weeks they did their thing. But when you have them having to pitch in these 2-1 games, these 1-0 games, where you make one mistake and you're down 1-0, it feels like you're down 3-0. I think it's just been too much stress on a bullpen that wasn't properly addressed. I'm not mad at them. Like you said, they spent their money a few years ago on the lineup. I don't think that there was a whole lot you could have done outside of maybe a struggling Jock Peterson and Jake Berger. Seeing what Nate Lowe's doing in D.C. and seeing what Paul Goldschmidt's doing in New York, I think Goldschmidt should have been the only one that can replace Nate Lowe. But besides that, it's on the players. It's on guys like Adolis Garcia. It's on guys like Marcus Semien, who they're all-stars. They get paid like it. They're in those situations. They're up with runners on, down by one out, no outs. Can't get the runners over, can't execute a plan. So it is a lot of baseball left. The pitching is going to keep games close, but I'm going to be honest, man. I don't see a championship team in Arlington this year with the way that their offense is set up. Maybe they can flip a switch. I don't know what it is. I've seen crazy go on, but there's just no consistency in anything with the offense going on right now. Great defense and pitching though.
So Malik,
Yeah, go ahead, Sid.
So have I ever told you my favorite nightmare ever?
No, it isn't.
It is the Cy Young years of Jacob deGrom and Zach Wheeler playing next to each other, with having all of these same problems where we say, yeah, well, we're playing, we have like a nice combination of young guys who are at the time Brandon Nimmo and Michael Conforto and Jeff McNeil and a young Pete Alonso when you moved off first baseman, and we were, oh yeah, well, Robbie Cano, like, yeah, he's a veteran, he gets paid to do so, like. And then it's, oh yeah, Michael Conforto, he's a Scott Boras guy, he gets paid to do so, or he wants to get paid to do. Congrats, you're a Mets guy now. Like you're just watching the Jacob deGrom Mets in Texas. Like that's all you're doing.
It's tough because like I don't think you sell off obviously on a guy that's good. They're locked up. He's locked in for a few years, but what do you have that pitch and you can't waste it. So who do you sell off? I think honestly, I don't think there's a way Adolis Garcia makes it through this season.
No.
I question if Marcus Semien can too. Big contract that he has. I believe he's $26 million for the next 4 years, around there. Garcia, he doesn't have that contract to back him up, and you got to get something for him. But I think they're two guys that some other teams could need. Los Angeles Angels. Would they be crazy enough to call up Semien and maybe you sell off for a bullpen piece or something that can get the team going? I don't know. Obviously, that's worst case scenario, but if the way that those two are performing, if the team as a whole are performing, what were you in June next? Oh man, if we're 2 weeks before the All-Star break and this offense is the same, man, the band of brothers from that World Series, I think you got to change something. You got to add something, or you won't get back for another. And I don't even want to be dramatic. Like you won't get back for a long time. There's going to be a lot of questions with health, leadership. Who knows if this is Bruce Bochy's last season with the squad?
Yeah, no, that's very true, bro. Like you said, especially with a guy like Bochy at his age. Courtney, I'm gonna ask you about the Rangers. Any, just quick thoughts on that team, and we're gonna move on to another topic that's been very pressing.
Yeah, my only thoughts are, again, as someone who has different reasons for loving both the Rangers and the Dodgers, but this is why I will never, ever, ever understand people's vitriol with teams that spend money in order to put together a winning team. The Rangers won in 2023, and their ownership essentially decided, you know what? Good enough for us. That's enough for us. That will sustain us for however many more years. And again, that isn't to say that the people that are on the teams aren't still competitors, especially if they won in 2023. Of course, you want to win again. But what can you do when your ownership does not put you in the position to continue winning because they're pinching pennies on bullpen pieces and, additions to the rotation? Now, mind you, Patrick Corbin has been a very bright spot in this organization. Someone who, with all due respect, has not been worth a damn for the past 4 or 5 years. Somehow, some way, the universe rewarded him with a relatively productive, healthy season. Good for him. But other than that, the Rangers really skimped out on adding pieces that would make this legitimate pieces that would make this team more competitive than they are. And again, that's why I can't be mad at teams like the Dodgers or the Mets for spending the money that they do, because even if you don't win, you're making an effort to win and to be competitive. And in winnable divisions like the American League West, it's incredibly disheartening to me, both as a fan and just a lover of the game, that more teams just don't want to win more. And this is not Moneyball. Like, you got to spend money to win. It's just the name of the game.
No, you are absolutely right. And speaking of spending money, there's a team in, what is it, Flushing's Queens? Are they in Flushing?
Yeah. Or Willets Point, Flushing, God.
All right, yeah. Shout out to the nanny. But no, The New York Mets, man, again, we talked about this earlier about the panic, the extra umph they've been trying to put on everything. But it seems like after the Subway Series, things have just amplified even more. You got people making up false rumors about Juan Soto taking a private jet away from the team to get the games, him and his family. People clocking his body language and saying, the Soto shuffle is gone. Is everything okay? He's regretting his decision. A lot of shit. There's just really, out of left field for a team that is, they recently, the Philadelphia Phillies took over first place, but they're right there. They're still right there, and his numbers are still pretty damn good. So, Sid, and I'm gonna pass it to the panel as a whole because, of course, we talked about just how, and this is my little theory that a lot of people agree with that. The NFL, the way that we judge everything week by week, we've taken that prompt and we put it on every sport, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And when you have sports where you need to go month by month as opposed to week by week, a lot of these reactions we get is just like, yeah, y'all just want to make content. So as a resident Mets fan said, I'm gonna shoot to you first because of what did you see in the Subway Series? Was it something where you see a guy who's just not, feeling himself, or is it just, again, like we said last time, much ado about nothing? Like, people are just looking for something to talk about.
Right. I think it's much ado about nothing, really. But at the same time, this sounds so lame to even say. Like, at some point, you probably should question, like, hey, what's going on with Juan Soto? Like, not in a bad way, not in a hyperbolic way. And it's even funnier that we are speaking on this day. Today is a very special day to me. On this day in 1998, Mike Piazza was traded to the New York Mets. So this is a big, a big day for pieces who have been traded to the Mets. And yeah, I think it's much to do about nothing. But I think this calls into a bigger issue. Not only the ethics of journalism, but like kind of just how far we have fallen from like the proper way of, I guess, doing this. And I say this as, someone who takes a lot of pride in the work that we do on this podcast. 2-homer game for Altuve, a fucking course. I fucking hate that guy.
I'm watching it right now. 9-2.
Oh my fucking god!
This is also, hey, we're tough to interrupt you, but quick shout out to Lance McCullers.
Yeah,
he gave up one unearned. It should have been unearned versus the Rangers, I believe, 1 through 5. Today he had given up 2 in the first inning, I believe, and I mean did his thing since. So quick shout out to Lance McCullers.
Also, while we're on this Altuve note, I had to look it up just to see what pitches, because I said before the show started that dude is batting 190 against fastballs, but everything else is, the metrics are a little bit better. Both of them were off sinkers. So he's still not catching up to those fastballs. The bat speed is down a couple ticks, but he got that sinker, every bit of it.
I'll tell you this. Altuve is Short King Hall of Fame, so I will always respect that brother. He will always have my vote in anything. And I know you've been looking crazy out there in left field, but brother, you keep hitting that baseball. You are going to the hall because you can hit that baseball, and we are proud of you. You have repped us for years. But Sid, back to your amazing Mets.
I think this just poses a bigger problem. Certainly with New York City sports media, but with sports media as a whole. We've kind of gotten to the barstoolification of how we go about this whole media deal. Like I was saying, I take a lot of pride in the work that we all do. Like I talk to you guys every single day about how fantastic I like truly believe you guys are, what you do and how you present everything. I am like incredibly proud of that. And so to see and I'll even say the name, Michael K. To see Michael K. like doing this, dog, like this is like, what are you doing, dog? Like this is gross. Like I cannot believe that one free agency signing has completely broken the landscape of sports media in this way. And I thought like the Kevin Durant thing was bad. Like this is, thank God more people don't like baseball because like this would be the worst day of my life. Like this is terrible. But at the end of the day, I think it's much ado about nothing. They're bad for Juan Soto standards. Juan Soto, he had a bad year in San Diego. Mike Piazza had a bad year. Francisco Lindor, his first year in New York, he choked out Jeff McNeil over the shift and came to the press conference with his full chest and said, "Yeah, man, we were arguing about a raccoon." Francisco Lindor choked out that man, held him on the wall, and said, "Learn your fucking place." That's exactly what happened. But hey, everyone's years are different. I've seen some crazy stuff. It's New York sports media. Like I have seen the Mike Piazza gay rumors. I have seen non-binary Juan Soto rumors. Like there's just been so many different things over the years. So like New York sports media will always find a way to keep it interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, and it's always been strange to me, the early overreactions, and I think with our generation, we've seen it with every quote unquote super team, or anytime there's a seismic move or a guy moves from one team to another for a huge sum of money, where it's just instant overreactions. I think pretty much every remember the Miami days, every LeBron team was like 500 after like 30 games, and everybody's panicking and like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then the man went to the finals 10 straight years. And so it's one of those situations with Soto where it's like, because it's New York and because the Yankees reign supreme, I wonder how much of it is legitimate and how much of it is just, we have a Yankee bias that's built in. So we're always gonna, no matter what happens, if he sneezes wrong, we're gonna sit there and say, see, he fucking hates it in Queens. We told you. Like we told you this was gonna happen. Malik, let me know how you feeling from what you've seen from Soto. I do think the Soto shuffle not being there anymore is kind of interesting. I saw that and I was like, are you okay, bro? Not saying he doesn't want to be a Met, but maybe he's just just not in his bag right now. But Malik, what have you seen from Soto and everything that's going on and with that team in Queens?
I mean, you that's exactly what I was thinking. I do think it's a little, it's New York. They're gonna they're gonna make a lot out of a little bit, a lot of time. But if you having fun out there, man, hit your Soto shuffle, show some of your swag. I think he showed it whenever they played the Yankees, and he tips his cap to the crowd, he calls time, and he let them keep booing him. Like that's the type of stuff we like from Juan Soto. But also, I was having this discussion with some of my friends. I know he got his big contract, but he can kind of chill out. I feel like he can still chill out there because, like you guys talked about, Francisco Lindor's over there, Pete Alonso's over there. Those two guys are face of the franchise type guys. I think to take a lot of pressure off Soto while he's trying to, it's pressure. He's got the big bag. They know he left. He left the Yankees for the Mets. It's a lot of pressure. You don't want to. Oh, I left for the World Series, or I left for the money as opposed to trying to win a World Series. I definitely think there's a lot less pressure on him to he has time to get acclimated is really what I am trying to say. I do want him to show that he's having, hey, have fun. I don't want to be like that mad unk, but that's when I feel like Soto's playing his best. That's what people want to see. And I was really looking forward to him hitting one against the Yankees over the weekend. Obviously that didn't happen. That's how baseball goes sometimes. I'm sure he wasn't trying to not hit a damn baseball. 1 for 10. He had a few late game. I think it was like a late game single on Saturday, but nothing major. And then I also heard he wanted to have the mic on Sunday Night Baseball, and then day before they canceled out. I don't understand why they wanted to put it on him in the first place if they were going to ask him questions about being a Yankee, why he's in the Met uniform. That's not the way to go about it, but I think time will tell, and winning is going to fix it all. And like you guys talked about, he's in a division that's going to be tough, especially with Ryan Acuna back. So let's get that. He'll go on one of his heaters. I think after he hits that heater, then we'll start seeing some more shuffling, and it'll quiet the Mets and New York media down for just a little bit till the next thing pops off.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're gonna see, man. I think it's gonna be interesting, but I also think, with that type of money, the scrutiny is always gonna be there. And it's what you get paid for, bro. Welcome to New York. You dealt with it last year, and you got to deal with it this year. But before we get out of here, we're gonna do what we always do. We got our series for the watch. We got 4 series for you. We're gonna let Courtney Collabro go first, of course, so she can get out of here. We got to thank her. This was her flu game. She's had a couple of these with us, really pushing through with everything she's got going on. And we really appreciate it. So now, Courtney, give us your series to watch this week, and you can head on out.
And I appreciate you guys for always holding me down, for real. I really appreciate you. I've been doing my best to be here because I love being here. I look forward to this every week. But yeah, the throat is killing me. So we're about to go to sleep. That being said, the series to watch for me this weekend already started this evening. It got off to a bit of a rocky start for one team. That is Seattle. They did get George Kirby back into their rotation, which, again, I'm not holding a first start for someone who has not seen Major League at bats since I think February 24th. And that was, I think, right at the beginning of spring training. He was in for like an inning, and then they were like, oh, right shoulder inflammation. Let's go ahead and shut that down. And I'm glad, again, that he's able to even be active this season again. But an absolutely abysmal start for him, pulling up his numbers right now. Kirby only pitched 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 1 walk, 4 Ks. But not a great start for him. And this series is kind of interesting just because going into this game, the Astros were, I think, 3.5 back. So again, season's not over. There's still a lot of baseball to be played. But to say that the Astros don't need to win this entire series, they kind of need to win this entire series, at least to get themselves in a good position. Because the last thing you want is, you drop these next 3 games and then you're, clawing your way back to the top. I mean, this is not the team, in my opinion, that is going to be able to overcome the same sort of difficulties that they did last season. Again, like I mentioned earlier, when they were 10 games back in June and still came back to win the American League West. That being said, Friday, Emerson Hancock versus Ryan Gusto for the Astros. Saturday is going to be a great matchup. That's Brian Wu versus Framber Valdez. And then Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle on Sunday versus, we aren't sure yet. My sneaking suspicion, just because, again, they did skip Hunter Brown's part. They didn't necessarily skip him, but he would have been on 4 days rest if he pitched on Sunday. And I think just with the increased workload and knowing that obviously Ronel Blanco is likely going to have to go on the injured list, they decided to start him on, I think it was Tuesday against the Rays. And then, that Brandon Lowe home run that had an expected weighted on base average of .10. That's freaking nasty. Would have been a home run in only 1 of 30 ballparks. And that one ballpark is Steinbrenner Field. Again, natural disaster. Please don't cancel me. I understand why they have to play there. This is not an Oakland, Sacramento situation. Sorry. Going back to the original series, I think it's going to be a great series. Some great pitching matchups. I do think that the Astros will call up Colton Gordon, which, fun little anecdote for those who are curious. When he was going through his Tommy John rehab, he decided that he wanted to become a pizza delivery driver. So that's exactly what he did. And he was like, yeah, maybe some pretty good money. And it just, kept me, level-headed and gave me a nice distraction while I was delivering pizzas. And he said that one of his favorite moments was when he delivered pizzas to some mansion and it's to the security guards that were working the party, and they gave him $100 tip. And he was like, yo, this is sick. Maybe I should just keep doing this. And now here he is, probably likely making the start on Sunday against Luis Castillo for the Astros.
No, definitely, Courtney. It's definitely going to be a series to watch. Let everybody know where they can follow you. And like I said, I'm going to let you get on out of here.
Yeah, you can follow me at 1-800-Collabro on Instagram and Twitter. As Dante mentioned earlier, we are in the middle of a Stanley Cup chase right now. So that's really where my head is at. But I'm always willing to talk baseball. So hit my DMs, hit my mentions, whatever. If you have questions about anything, this brain is just a little encyclopedia. It's like a little hamster on a wheel when it pertains to baseball. So hit my line.
Hey, Courtney, once again, thank you for stopping through. And as usual, you have the best Texas hats I've seen in a very long time.
The collection
We
goes
appreciate
crazy. The collection goes crazy.
But no, we're going to definitely.
They might be crazy, but the hats and the branding synergy goes crazy.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But no, you take it easy. And we got a lot of great series. We got one more for y'all. I'm going to go with mine. And mine just got a little more exciting. We talking Braves Padres. And the reason it got a little more exciting because, like I just said earlier, Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. And I'm going to be in the building tomorrow. I may actually do the whole 5-hour thing because a lot of people don't know the stadium opens up 5 hours early for media. So I may be there at 2:30 for a 7:15 game start. But I think it's well worth it. I think you're talking about, even though the Padres have lost 6 games in a row, two very exciting teams, two young teams. I think the Braves are really trying to get back. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. So, that's, after getting swept by them to start the season, that's not really what you want. So I think with this team, a team that, again, you may potentially face in an NLCS or at least a playoff series, it's important to start to, stack those victories and get that confidence, even though it is early and things can change. But I think Acuna coming back is going to add a different energy to this ball club. Like, I think it's one of those situations, and Sid, I know you don't want to hear this, but I think it's really one of those situations when you add an elite talent back like that, even though we're still waiting. They've added 2 elite talents back, but Strider still has to find his groove. I think Ron is going to find his groove a lot faster than everybody else. And this series against the Padres, against a team you're going to see down the line, this is one of those series where you want to start, letting it be known that, at the beginning of the year, that was a fluke, even though I know most Major League Baseball teams are not hanging their hat on what they did opening weekend. But if you're the Braves and you want to continue this trend of, playing better and stacking more victories as you continue on this season, this is another great opportunity to start that. And I think you're going to get that. Fernando Tatis Jr., must-see television. We all know that. They got a few guys on that team that are really good. I got to check the pitching matchups. But I think the Braves can really do some damage here, and that, it could possibly have wild card implications going forward. But my series to watch this week, and I will be in the building, is Braves versus Padres. Sid, I'm going to go to you. What's your series?
We got a 3-set in the NLDS rematch or NLCS rematch. I'm sorry. I'm not used to that. We have the Dodgers and the Mets. We have Clayton Kershaw and Griffin Canning going on Apple TV. Tomorrow we have Tony Gonsolin and David Peterson going on Fox on Saturday. And then we have Landon Knack and Kodai Senga going on Sunday on ESPN. The Mets have not been playing fantastic baseball, but it's early. But at the same time, this is probably the time to establish yourself as those guys. We see Shohei Ohtani is heating up with the leading 14 homers. Weirdly enough, Francisco Lindor is leading the Mets with 10 homers. Juan Soto, I think, is at like 4 or 5, and then Pete Alonso is at 9. So yeah, we're getting to a place to where now the wins are starting to string together. These are 230-win ball clubs. And yeah, let's just all just have fun. Let's all just have fun today or tomorrow. When this series, let's just all have fun. I think it'll be a great series. I think it'll come down to pitching. Still May baseball. It's hard to say, but this is a series that you really want to you want your home crowd to show up and show out, and you want to take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, like I said, with everything we expecting from this division, and it's how tight it's going to be. You want to start stacking victories and, really getting into your momentum, especially against a team that you could potentially see down the line. Malik, we're going to let you tell us your series to watch and close us out. What you got, bro?
All right. Well, I apologize to anybody that's going to be put through the hell of watching Rangers White Sox this weekend. I wouldn't do that to y'all. Maybe I think this other series though, these aren't two of the best teams, but it's like Sid said, we're having fun. The Los Angeles Angels, who are what I believe they've won 7 in a row. They're cooking. They're cooking right now. Big sweep for the A's. They welcome the Miami Marlins into town. Sandy Alcantara, a guy that's going to be on the trade deadline. He's been struggling all season. He'll be on the bump. I'm not sure what day this weekend, but he'll be on the bump this weekend. The Angels' offense is hot. Scored 10 runs Thursday against the A's. Zach Neto returned from the IL a few weeks ago. I'm looking 387, 8 RBIs, 2 home runs, 10 runs scored over his last 7 games. He's looking real good. Logan O'Hoppy's looking real good. Taylor Ward on fire. And Mike Trout, he's back working out. I'm sure he'll be back soon. We'll see what the story is with him. But I always like I always like to look up in the standings and see that the Angels are just a few games out of a playoff spot, because that means Ron Washington has job security for the time being, at least. We'll see. Like I said, Angels are hot. I think they can continue to stay hot. Let's see if they can hit double digits playing a weaker Miami Marlins team.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be very interesting. I agree, man. We all are always gonna root for Ron Washington and hope him nothing but the best, man. We want to see him try to really build that up, because like a lot of people feel like he just took that job because it was more so of I don't know how many more opportunities I'm actually gonna get, so let me get in here while I can. But I think he can definitely make something happen. And that's all we got for y'all today. It was another great show, man. We really appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. Like I always say, if there's anything you want to see from us, let us know. Feel free. We're all very active on social media. So if there's anything you need to see or want to see, like I said, we're going to start a very special segment where we bring on everyday fans, the casuals, as we like to say, and we're going to start educating people, man. We want to know what y'all don't know about baseball. What are you confused about? What stats don't you understand? I know we throw out a lot of things, FIP, whip, all type of shit. So I think it's something where, with us being the yappers, as we say, and it's on us. And we're going to take it in upon ourselves to really educate people about the game of baseball, man. I think that's going to be real fun. So I'm looking out for that. Make sure you look out for that. And anything you want to see, anything else show related, just let us know. Follow, where to follow Malik at _Team Mill. Follow my boy Sid at Sid Slide Park. Follow me at October Zone Tay. For everything brand related, make sure you follow the Barber's Chair at Barber's Chair Co. on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. We got 4 different tiers, all very affordable. A lot of great content for you. Any merch related, we got hoodies, we got sweatshirts, we got mugs, we got hats. We got a lot of good stuff, man. Shop with the brand. We appreciate y'all. We would appreciate even more if you spend a couple dollars. It would be greatly appreciated as we try to continue to build this thing. But anything merch related, you can lock in at bcnetshop.com. And for everything podcast related, editorials, everything we got going, once again, 79th and Hallis is back. We're at OTAs, and we're continuing to just get more content on there for y'all. King's Landing will be back, and we will continue with the High and Outside podcast. But make sure you check in with us at vbcnet.com. It's been great. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to y'all, bro. And we will be back next week.